The man who allowed me to put what was in my heart into words. There's a lot in here. Like sometimes I become overwhelmed even when I'm by myself because I just wish I had that gift. And whenever people, people tell you, I wish I had, like the ability to do this or the ability to do that. If I had the ability to do anything, it would be to be able to be a good writer and to put what's in my heart into words. Because it doesn't come naturally for me. I'm a little dyslexic. When I'm nervous, I stutter. So it's a challenge for me to be here. But thank God for Maurice DiMino. When I met him, he transformed my life. And I was able to slowly, and I remember the first time that I went to his boot camp. And they called me in. He does this thing where he pulls your name out of a bowl thing, and it was the last day. And I thought, I can't. And I'm telling him, no. And people are like, come on. I'm like, no. And he's like, come on, Adriana. So I go up there, and I start talking, and I'm just going on. And he's like, well, how about if you try this? I can't remember what he said. I mean, it's just bad. It was just bad. But everybody was so beautiful. Everybody was so beautiful and supportive, and he was just amazing because he told me, you know your story. That's what he told me. You know your story. Just tell it. It doesn't have to be every time word for word. You know what's in your heart. You know your story. So thank you, Maurice. Thank you for allowing me to do this. And he challenged me 2 years ago to do an event. He said, I want to challenge all of you who come here to do an event. Put into practice what you've learned with me. And then I thought to myself, I'm not going to do that. I'm not into that. I'm just so negative sometimes that I know. But then the more I started thinking about it, I thought, you know what? I have a little extra left over from the backpacks, the donations that I received. Why not give it back? What am I going to do with it? Right? So I thought, I can do this. So that's when last year was the first award that we gave to Maricela, who is now entering her second year in college, and she's doing wonderful. But I want to introduce you to my friend, my mentor, and now I'm part of his amazing Sicilian family, Maurice DiMino.
I have a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. Well, that's Martin Luther King, and I was expecting everyone was expecting me to at least quote Martin Luther King on A Day of Dreams, right? So I got that out of the way, so let's get that out of the way so we take care of business. I want to welcome you to Transforming Young Lives, second annual 2013, and I want to thank each and every one of you for giving up two things, not only the dollars that you invested coming here, but also the time that you've given to be here. So I want to thank each and every one of you. So thank you very much for giving. In fact, give me something nice round of applause. I come from Toastmasters, we applaud everything. Also, you know what, we wouldn't be gathered here if it wasn't for Adriana Rio. And yes, she had that foresight to bring us together. So again, Adriana, let's give Adriana. Today I'd like to share with you three simple things. Really, three simple things. And those things are this: my thoughts, my observations, and my hopes. My thoughts. When Adriana invited me to speak here, it's amazing. You know, we do this thing in Toastmasters called tabletop, where pretty much you just stand up and they throw a topic at you, and on your feet, you got to come up with a thing. And it's amazing the thoughts, the ideas, the pictures that pop into your mind. And when Adriana asked me to speak here, it's amazing. What was the first thing that popped into my mind? Margaret Mead. I'd never studied Margaret Mead. I don't even know who the heck Margaret Mead is. But her quote was this: "It is unfathomable what a determined group of people can do to change the world." What a group of people can do to change the world. And that's amazing, isn't it? Because look at this group of people that's changing the world right now. But I said, you know what, that's not quite right. I think we got to peel back a little bit, because I don't think events just spontaneously combust. not like a flash mob. In other words, there had to be a spark of an idea, a spark of a dream, if I may. You see, it was somebody's dream that made the group come together and do it. You know, quite simply, when John turned to Paul and said, let's start a group. When Orville turned to Wilbur and said, hey, let's take that bicycle and make it fly. You see, it's the individual. It's the individual and the dreams that we have inside of us that makes the difference in the world. And that's my thoughts. It is that idea inside of us that will spark and ignite the action. What's that dream inside of you? What's that dream inside of you? And again, I wanted to peel back the layers even further. And I said, where does that dream come from? And if you don't mind, if I can indulge you a little bit, I'm very fortunate. I have to say this. I'm very fortunate. I was raised and brought up by an inventor, my father, Dr. Alfonso DiMino. 2 PhDs in physics and electronics, and that's what he was. He was an inventor. He took the unknown and make it known, from nothing to something. And I'll never forget sitting in his office in Westwood, New Jersey. There behind his big desk, he would sit there with his espresso coffee, steam coming up from it, and him sitting there thinking and smoking. You know, his Winston's 100s with the aqua filter. But join me now. Right over his shoulder was a portrait of Albert Einstein, and right beneath it, probably the ultimate quote ever. And his quote that should really spark us all is this: imagination is much more powerful than knowledge. Isn't it true? Isn't it where our imagination that sparks? Do you realize that anything that was invented twice? First in the imagination of the inventor's mind, and then coming out here. I mean, look around this room. The building, the architects, the chair, the fork, the knife. I mean, look at a knife. Where did this come from? It came from someone's imagination. And so, too, this event. This event came from an individual's imagination that she wanted to change the world. That she wanted to bring together a group of concerted citizens and make a difference in the world. And that leads me to my observations. It's amazing what the individuals can do. I know one individual here, she saw someone's dream of taking their grandfather's message, Viktor Frankl, and making a movie of it, Victor and I. And that's Mary Simaluka right here. I saw another gentleman who says, you know what? Yes, we all pretend to be happy, but from the highest ranks of the corporate offices to the lowest of the field person, who is really, truly happy? Ricky Powell is now bringing to the world happiness. And it wouldn't be complete if you weren't feeling sexy, if you weren't feeling confident, if you weren't feeling from the sexy inside out, no matter if you used lingerie or not, of my lovely Heidi Lee. But the greatest observation that we can make today is Adriana Rita. Yes, I did pick her name from a bowl. Yes, I did ask her to speak up front. And you don't know the whole story because Heidi was sitting next to Adriana, and as soon as her name was picked, she said, oh no, not me, not me, not me. And then, from that simple steps of moving forward, we are here together. Now, Adriana, you don't know this story, but when you decided to do this, she called me up, I forgot what day it was, but I know that I was on my way to go speak at an event in Santa Clarita, and thank goodness the GPS was not working, because it kept pointing me to an empty field. I was doing loops, doing loops. Sure enough, the phone rang, and Adriana says, Maurice, do you have 5 minutes? Well, Adriana, to tell you the truth, I didn't have 5 minutes. I had to get to this event, but I said, yes, Adriana, how may I help you? And she said, you know what, I really like that idea that you started a scholarship in memory of your mother, the Nancy M. DiMino Scholarship. And I'd like to do something the same. A spark. Did you see it? Did you feel it? Just a simple spark. I like to do something of the same. And that's where Transforming Young Lives came. The Mary Louisa Lara Scholarship came from. From that simple beginning, she said she wanted to take a look at young lives and make a difference. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's got to start somewhere. It's got to start from someone. You know, Walt Disney said this: if you could dream it, you can do it. And evidently, Adriana, you have done it. Now, this is my dream. May I share you my hopes, my dreams? Because it's funny how one spark led to another spark, right? What I'm hoping is that today it sparks the light in you. What is that spark inside of you? You know, Mark Twain has some fantastic quotes out there, and I found this one that I think fits perfectly right here. He says, in 20 years from now, you'll be more embarrassed and ashamed by the things that you didn't do than by the things that you did. So go explore, dream, discover. And that's exactly what my dream, my hope is, for you to discover your $1 million dream. What's that dream inside of your heart that the world is waiting to hear? And you heard that she called me the Sicilian mentor. And I say this, I forbid you to go to your grave with your dream still inside of you. In fact, I like to challenge the room, if I may. I want to challenge each and every one of us. In fact, I want each and every one of us to task each other and make each other accountable for us to pursue that dream. And when I say $1 million, I'm not talking about the value. I'm talking about how to feel it. Because I know that after when Adriana is done with this, the lives that she has touched is priceless. So again, my hope, my dream is for each and every one of us to take this spark and to ignite that flame of the dream inside of us, inside of the person sitting next to everyone in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a dream. Do you? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So he's a man who taught me to put my dream into words. Because whenever I would go somewhere and I would tell them what I did, I confused everybody. What is it that you do? Well, you know, I donate backpacks to homeless children. I mean, how difficult is that, right? But it was the business plan that they didn't understand. I put the business plan together and I didn't know how to share it. So he was the one, because he's just so good with words. Again, thank you so much. Thank you, Maurice.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now,